Rawe. Okay, so now that the formalities are done, I'm going to introduce myself. Kōwae, ko Arohanui West tōku ingoa, hiri tēnei no te aroa waka, no tūhaurangi Ngāti Wāhia o Ngāti Pakauia me Ngāti Rangi Wewehi, born and raised in the beautiful metropolis of Rotorua, and been with Parakore since 2020, I want to say. So a little while now, and I have the privilege of facilitating today's Learning Bite all about foraging. So if you didn't know, just a quick plug into our Learning Bites. Learning Bites are online learning modules that have largely been designed by Matt Peryman, who's going to talk to you all soon, covering a range of topics. Our first was on preserving kai, and if you were there, tēnā koe, thanks for joining us for that one with Shirley Simmons. If you weren't there, you can watch the recording on our website. This one is all about foraging, and we've got a few in the works. If you follow our pānui, you would have seen we've got one about local kai mapping coming up with Rā'apanui, and we've got one about colonization and kai with Dr. Jessica Hutchings. So really, really privileged to have these experts and these people with the pukenga and mātauranga to fill our kite. So thank you, Hori, for joining us today. And on that note, I'll pass to you, Hori, to introduce yourself, and then to you, Matt, to introduce yourself and kick us off with the Learning Bite. Nō reira, tēnā tātou. Sorry, last thing, God, yapping. If you have any questions or comments, please fill the chat, flood the chat. We love your engagements, and feel free to unmute and ask questions as we go through. This is a really engaging wānanga. Nō reira, tēnā tātou, over to you, Hori.
Tēnā tātou, ko Hori Barsdell tēnei, he uri no mātātua waka, no te whānau apanui, whakatōhea, Ngāti Awa mea ngai te rangi, he ono ngā no ki te aroa waka, ki Ngāti Rangi tihi. Kei o Pōtiki e noho ana. Cool to be here today with you all and share one of my buzzers, I guess, one of my passions. By all means, no expert, but I'll do my best to share what I've been taught and hopefully learn some stuff from you fellas too. Kia ora.
Hori, kia ora tātou. Ko putu aki toku maunga, ko rangitai ki toku wawa, ko ngai tamare toku hapu, ko Ngāti Awa toku iwi. Beautiful to have my cousin here, Hori, from Ngāti Awa. Ko mātātua te waka, ko te teko te kainga, ko Matt Peryman aho. So yeah, my name's Matt. I live in Tamaki, but from Te Teko. And I do program stuff here at Parakore. Really excited to learn about foraging from Hori. He's the expert. We're just the ones kind of making the space to talk about this stuff. But I'm also really sure that everyone in this ropu here has some expertise and some mātauranga that they can share too. So please flood the chat, unmute if you want to have a kōrero. It's all very open, all very chill. So if there's anything else for intros, we might just dive into it. I'll start sharing my screen. Can you guys tell me if that's sharing all good?
Still loading for me, Matt.
Okay.
Here we go. Yeah.
Cool. Awesome. Yeah. So this is our Learning Bite. And if you came to the Preserving Kai one, you might have seen that it looks quite similar. And so it's an online learning module. And this is how we're going to go through it. It's kind of like slides, but it's all interactive with prompts and pārtai. And so this one is all about foraging kai. Before we get into it,
a quick note for our participants: if you're struggling to see the screen and you're only seeing other participants, you can edit that by pushing the minimize bar on the part where you see everyone's faces. Does anyone know how to word that better than me? You can basically have a tutu and change your settings so that you can see the screen and not everyone's faces. Someone word that better than me in the chat, Kwa.
Hopefully it's looking all good for most of you guys. But yeah, so let's talk about foraging. Foraging is something that is obviously very central in to our Māori, mahinga kai. Foraging not only provides us with fresh, healthy, local and organic kai, it also connects us directly with the whakapapa that we share with kai as we gather and eat from the local foodscapes around us. So this includes the whenua, the ngahere, the moana, the awa, and the wider taiao around us. This Learning Bite today explores foraging through te ao Māori to identify a range of kai and rongoā that you can forage in Aotearoa. And Hori will also show us a demonstration after this so we can really get a hands-on idea of how this all works. And then we can put this mātauranga into practice by going foraging yourself in your own home and hopefully around even your whare. Okay, next slide. So this actually is like something you can do by yourself with your whānau. And so these are the instructions if you were to go through it in your own time. But we'll skip through this today because we're facilitating it.
If you find value in this, feel free to share the link to this foraging learning with your whānau so that they can go through it in their own time.
Aye. Cool. So we should probably start with identifying what foraging actually is, right? Because it's kind of this term that was imported. It's something we did every day back before colonization. It wasn't something we even maybe named. It was just kai. But foraging is when we gather kai straight from the taia, which is obviously very different to going to the supermarket or buying anything from anywhere, because we just forage it straight from te taia, from the atua. And so this can include plants, fruits, nuts, roots, fungi, shellfish, insects, and a lot more. And a lot of the stuff like insects and even fungi, we don't eat a lot of today if we forage it. But it's something that we would have had as a staple kai back in the day. And we can see here a couple of our tipuna collecting kina. And you'll see on the right side too that a lot of our food gathering routines were a collective effort. It wasn't something you do by yourself. You take your whānau out, you gather the pipi, and that way you're also looking after each other, making sure you're safe, sharing that mātauranga you're learning and passing it on between kaumātua through tamariki.
This was also a really cool way to observe your natural world. Like if you are out in your roto, and I use roto as an example being from Te Aroha, when you are out in your lakes and gathering kai from your lakes, you are very acutely aware of how well those foodscapes are doing. You know which areas are being depleted quickly. You know which areas might need a rahui, might need to reset. You're totally attuned to the environment that you are constantly returning to because it's your food basket to gather kai from. So there's a different level and layer of connection to the whenua that comes from connecting your puku to the whenua. Just want to add that.
Ai, kia ora. So we'll go to the next slide. And this is a prompt for you guys. So forageable kai is actually all around us. All we have to do is look. There's a good chance that you see kai that you could be foraging in your everyday life. So have you come across any of the kai pictured here or any other kinds of kai? Let us know in the chat because we're really keen to see what you guys have found and that you can be eating and using for rongoā in your own rohi. Some of the common ones here are blackberries. See them quite a lot up around Tamaki. There's of course watercress, kawakawa, and puha. Puha is often considered a weed, but obviously it's really important in our kai, in Māori kai. We have it in our soups and in our boil-ups, eh? Sky says that, yeah, lots of blackberries. Cool to see others out collecting them too. Awesome. Anyone else out there collecting stuff? Any of these things look familiar? Cool. Hana says kawakawa planted near you making tea. Kawakawa tea is one of my favorites. It always makes me feel really toe. And it's actually probably the easiest thing you could make. Like you can take the leaf, swish it up a little bit so it releases the oils, and then you just put some boiling water over it and you've got a tea. Cool.
Love the other chat coming through. Ra said, I'm always foraging like a seagull.
Yeah.
Hannah said, so easy, great way to attune in the morning. Beautiful way to ground yourself. Yeah. Love that. Puha grows in my garden like a weed, and we pick it every time we have a boil up. We just pick it.
Cool. Keep letting us know what you're foraging in the chat, guys, and we'll keep on going. Here's another prompt, and this one's about atua. So this obviously differs across the motu because we all have different atua that we might acknowledge. But when we're thinking about wild kai and gathering it, foraging, which atua might you acknowledge and honor? So we have a few listed here, a few examples, but this is not exhaustive. There's probably many others that we could be listing here. How do we feel about Homia tike tike? Have you connected to gathering kai?
Feel free to unmute here, everyone, if you have something to say.
It's open floor whānau, so please feel free to jump in and share in the chat what your whakaaro might be here, or if there's any atua that aren't listed here, maybe I'll just go through that. We also have rongoā tane mahute.
Sophie has said all of the above.
Yeah, Sophie, I think you're onto it too. But I also feel, yeah, tangaroa, Janie. There's other atua connected here that we haven't listed. So if there's anything you can think of, please share. Hine moana, ai. There's so many.
Parawhenua mea, the atua of fresh water.
Ai. Parawhenua mea, ai. Awesome. There are so many. Let's just go with. Well, actually, this is a multi-select one. There's no right or wrong answer because it's about atua, right? So with this one, click with all of them. And actually, this is a prompt to tell you that one of the most common ones would be Homea tike tike, connected to uncultivated kai, so wild kai. But of course, this does differ across the motu and different iwi traditions. But also mentions Papatoanaku, of course, the mother of all of these atua. Cool. Let's carry on. So we should think about why we're foraging for kai, right? Like, what's the motivator here? There's many reasons to forage for kai, but here's just a few. And this one's interactive, so if we click this, pops up with a couple of things here. So one of the first ones that popped up was hauora. So to uplift, foraging uplifts hauora because wild kai is highly nutritious, packed with vitamins and minerals that are hard to find on the supermarket shelf. It's also really good because you're saving pute, right? Saves you and your whānau money by gathering kai and rongoā to supplement your shopping. So something we all want to think about now because obviously times are really tough. And as Ra also says, back to hauora, this is a fitness connection. You get out in the taiao, you're moving around, connecting with the atua. It's all about our tinana and wairua as well.
And on the hauora note, I always remember, I don't know how accurate this is, but I remember we have an aloe vera plant at my whānau house. And I remember being told that like the aloe vera drink obviously is loaded with sugar, but also apparently it loses kind of its nutritional value after like 24 hours of being cut off the vine. And you should fact check that because that wasn't really heard from a super viable source. But it does have me reflecting on kind of, yeah, how this food holds up in the supermarket as well. Like if you've ever eaten a tomato off the vine, off your own vine in your garden, it's just, there's nothing like that freshness. So gathering kai and eating it, you know, raw and right there is quite a treat. And I feel like there's lots of health benefits to that.
And Hannah's noting in the chat, it's not all about nutrition because lots of the kai in the supermarkets are processed, right? Like loses a lot of that goodness. So the organicness of foraged kai is so important. Sounds like a lot of you guys are already pretty onto it. And so maybe you have some foraging whakaaro or mātauranga you can share in the chat with us. But I also note, as long as it's not being sprayed by council, that's a really important point. You got to watch out for highways and anywhere that could be sprayed because you don't want to be putting those chemicals into your tinana.
That's also a great point by Sky, saying that commercial stuff is often picked before it's actually ripe so that it can last the distances it needs to travel.
Oh, and Sophie asked a good partai. Any tips on how to find out where they're spraying?
Ra, do you have an answer for that?
Hi, kia ora te whānau. You can call your local council and ask. You can ask where they've sprayed, how long it's been since they've sprayed. I used to work in an organisation where we would have to spray lots of invasive weeds, so I wouldn't even, for me, if they've sprayed them at all, they're using things like glyphosate and triclopyr, not good for your body, not good systemically long term. So just giving them a call, they're required to give you that information. But you'll notice anywhere that is managed by council is kind of a no-go zone for me and my whānau.
That's really good advice, and thank you for bringing that up, Sophie, and for your answer.
They also have signs up sometimes when they've sprayed around the parks and things, so that's something to look out for. And someone made a really good point about look around, you know, what's dying, because generally you spray things to kill them. So, you know, a little bit of those observation skills come into play here as well.
And we'll just quickly run through the last point on this slide, which is that really it's all about whakapapa. Foraging is reconnecting with whakapapa and the traditional kai that we have in Te Ao Māori and Aotearoa. And the knowledge that we have, the mātauranga Māori around how to harvest, use, and protect that kai. And that's something we need to be passing through to our tamariki, learning from our kaumātua who often hold it inside and we forget to ask questions sometimes, but we have to make sure we're learning all of that mātauranga and keeping it intergenerational. Cool. And we'll just move on to the next one. Another prompt. This is a bit of a thinker. So if you have foraged kai before, what value do you feel that it brings to you in your whānau? And this can be interpreted so many ways. We've talked about like the whole water connection, the whakapapa connection. There's so many things that foraging does for you. Yeah, Janie mentions fun. That's one of the most important things, I think. It's so enjoyable. You go out there and you just connect with the taio, you feel really toe, and you leave with this beautiful taonga that you can eat. Anyone have any whakaaro on this or want to jump on the mic? Hannah mentions connection.
Yeah, and said it's such a flex, which is so true.
Yeah.
Being able to gather kai is such a flex.
Aye. And Tony notes, yeah, it's really empowering too. Like knowledge is power, foraging is power, sovereignty and action is collecting the kai that we have in our taio. Yeah, education, Jessica. It's so important to be bringing our tamariki out into the taio and to gather stuff and to learn how to get their own kai. Hannah has a great point too, and this is one of my motivators, is sticking it to the man, getting away from supermarkets and not buying from the big corporations because they don't need any more of our putia. Awesome. I might keep going because we've got a few more slides, but keep on going in the chat too, Spano. It's awesome. This slide is actually probably the most important one. We're talking about tikanga for foraging. So the first one, there's of course going to be so many tikanga, and please mention them in the chat. This is not exhaustive, but just a few really important ones. So the first one is, of course, be sure that you know the kai that you're going to be foraging. And so only take what you can confidently identify. Ask your elders, kaumātua, tohunga experts, and take care, especially with berries and fungi, because of course, some of them can be quite poisonous and not good for you. So if you're ever in doubt, just leave it and come back with some more mātauranga next time. The second one, take only what you need. Leave plenty for others and plenty for regrowth. And of all the stuff that you take, all the parts of the kai that you take, make sure you use it. Don't put anything to waste. I have some of these little shark tooth earrings on right now. I have some feather ones. You know, we can make taonga out of stuff that we can't eat. That's really beautiful to still honor that kai and whanaunga that provided that kai. And a rule here, like a rule of thumb, is the rule of thirds. So don't take any more than a third, leave a third for others, and a third for regrowth. And this is one of our, this is not the exhaustive list, but this is the last one we'll talk about here, and that's know where you're foraging. And this is super important because this is to uphold the rangatiratanga of mana whenua, right? Ensure you have permission and follow tikanga, tapu, and rahui, if there are any, in the place that you're foraging. And make sure also, we've talked about this one, be aware of any potential toxins, pollution, or waste that could be around the areas that you're foraging, any sprays or chemicals. And good tohu for this is any dead plants nearby. Someone also mentioned that in the chat. Can you guys think of any other tikanga that we might have not talked about today? Because there will be different ones across the motu, and it'll be really interesting to hear what you guys have that guides your foraging practice. Rāno is karakia before harvesting, of course. This is probably the most important way, one of the most important ways to show our gratitude, to honor the kai that we're taking from, and making sure that we take a moment, not just grabbing and leaving, take a moment to be with the kai. Return what you can, Hana? I think about this a lot when I do rāranga and I weave harakeke, and you always put back all the parts that you don't want back to the same plant usually. Same thing with kai. We'll move on to the next slide, but please keep going in the chat if you've got more whakaaro. Oh, Sky, actually, before we talk about this one, that's a really important point. Health and safety, right? Out in the taio, anything can happen. They could slip, you could get sunburnt, anything can happen. You gotta wear your hat, sunblock, good shoes, watch where you're going. make sure you're in a good headspace so you're not distracted or, you know, doing things that might put you in danger or someone else in danger. Wearing the correct safety gear if you're in somewhere that could pose a hazard, yeah. So what are some ways to protect kai for the future and ensure that it grows? We have a few ideas here, but if you know of any more that aren't listed here, please put them in the chat. So what do we think about these? Harvest by cutting? Is that a better way to harvest kai instead of pulling? This might vary, maybe it's not a black or white answer, but who's got some whakaaro? Janie reckons leave the roots in the ground. I've heard this a lot from a lot of our whānau that garden. Make sure you chop and drop if you're going to cut anything and leave the roots undisturbed so that the soil doesn't get all mushed up and the microbes are still alive. Do not harvest young growth. That's an important one too, because I'm just going to use harakeke as an example. You never cut the baby, right? The one in the middle, you never would. You always go for the grandparents on the sides. And so you want to get those, maybe the kaumātua kai rather than the young growth. Another way that we can protect kai is learning from our elders and passing the knowledge about kai onto tamariki, because this will help us protect the kai, make sure we're using the right tikanga, and so that it can regrow for the next generation too. Allowing time for the plant to replenish. So this is also tying into rahui and how we use these practices to make sure that we aren't taking too much. And never take all the kai, leave some. That's another way to protect kai. Another one that I thought was really important is respecting breeding seasons. So if you're gathering maybe eggs or something, or fish, or shellfish, I mean, you want to think about when they're breeding and maybe do some research into your rohe and find out when that would be, and make sure you leave them alone so that they can replenish and build back their populations, because we're not always entitled to kai. We have to be aware that the taiao has its own rhythms and it needs balance. And we're part of that taiao system. So if we take too much at the wrong time, it can disrupt that balance. So it's all about learning the local rhythms. But I also agree with this one. If you have any whakaaro, please jump in. I know you've got some. Yeah, Hannah mentioned.
I love that point. We're not always entitled to kai. He tino wānanga kei roto i tērā kōrero for me. Yeah, it's that entitlement that has probably gotten us into trouble in the past in terms of our relationship with, you know, Te Aotearoa, our natural world. That was a cool comment by Hannah as well. Don't accidentally colonize your foraging spots.
Sorry, and that's no, thank you for doing that. And yeah, we really can replicate colonization sometimes when we don't think and we just go into a place and start taking. It's all about whakawhanangatanga, right? Whakapapa. So make sure you're connecting with the mana whenua if you're not from that place. And yeah, you want to carry that mātauranga before you gather anything, because the taiao comes first. So I'm just going to go through, select all of these because they all sound like good ideas. And they're all good ideas to protect kai. Cool.
Love that one about honouring mana whenua as well, thinking about our whānau in the East Coast who have put rahui on the rock pools. And yeah, power to them, you know, to protect this kai and these special places for our mokopuna.
Yeah, rahui is one of our most important practices, and I'm always loath to see when people don't honour them. And it's like, this is not in place for someone to take authority over you. It's to protect te taiao, and it's not something to take personal. It's really about our greater benefit, our collective health. So this here is an activity. So think like a tipuna. I want you guys to answer in the chat, please, or unmute yourself and have a guess. So you come across, this is imagination. You come across a large patch of puha growing there in awa. What do you do? Would you harvest some and leave plenty, leave it untouched, or harvest all of it? Who wants to have a go? Hannah reckons first one, so harvest some and leave plenty. That seems pretty good to me. Anyone have any whakaaro? First one as well, Jamie? Janie, sorry. Megan also harvest some, leave plenty. All right, awesome. You guys are catching on well. Cool. So let's click that. Nice. And we get these clapping because you all got it right. Nice. Here's another one of these. So you find a bunch of kawakawa bushes in the ngahere. Which harvesting approach protects the plants? Harvesting entire branches, or harvesting leaves from several plants, or harvesting leaves from just one plant? Anyone have any whakaaro? Want to take a guess? Hannah and Sky saying leaves from several plants. That seems like a good idea. Anyone want to guess why that might be a good idea? Aye, Hannah, yeah, to spread the weight of feeding us. So it's not just one plant that's taking all of the hits, so to speak. Often, actually, when we harvest, some plants will take on that energy that it's been harvested and put out more growth hormones, so that actually can encourage more growth. But we always want to make sure we don't take too much from just the one plant. If there's a whole bunch of bushes, get a few leaves from each one. Janie makes an awesome point here that if you touch the leaves and some of them fall off, that means that they're ready to be taken. This is something that I've noticed a lot with kawakawa. It often just falls off the plant when it's ready.
Just a time check here, Matt, as the facilitator. You've got 5 more minutes with this learning bite, and then we're going to pass it over to Hori.
All good. Okay, let's keep going then. So foraging in Aotearoa, we're actually really lucky in Aotearoa. We can pretty much gather from anywhere at any time. This is so different to most other countries. And we're also really lucky because a lot of our places are still relatively unpolluted. And each season in Aotearoa, and every different ecosystem as well, offers different kai for us to forage. In spring, there's young greens. In summer, we have berries and fruit. Autumn's a great time for nuts and seeds. And winter, we can also enjoy shellfish. I'll just go through this a little faster because we're running a little out of time. But if you guys do this in your own time, you can find out a bit more about what you can forage from awa, moana, ngahere, and even in your community by clicking on these ones. So let's talk about rongoā, because this is another thing that it's been a really important part of foraging. And it's important to remember that kai is rongoā, rongoā is kai. There's often a lot of overlap. The same plants can provide both healing and nourishment. So a few common examples here would be kawakawa, which is quite peppery, used in teas. We've talked about that one a lot. And the second one here, with the wrong arrow. Second one here, onion weed. I see this all the time, especially around water. Really tasty, tastes like chives, has antimicrobial properties, so really nutritious as well. We have maue, which is a more traditional one, kind of used in pot and boil ups and that now. It's sticky in spring tonics as well, it's quite good. And also, Arohanui talks about this one in our ad, it was tātara moa. So this is often used for ikura and post-childbirth. Let us know in the chat if you guys have ever foraged any of these too. It'd be awesome to hear your experiences. So also with foraging, one of the most important things to keep in mind is the maramataka. Maramataka guides all parts of mahinga kai, and it guides us to know when kai is abundant and when it's better to wait before we harvest. And this, of course, differs between iwi and rohe. So what matters most is observing your own taio and learning the local patterns, and following that and to guide your tikanga for foraging. If anyone has any whakaaro on maramataka, we would love to learn about this. We also want to do a learning bite eventually on maramataka. So yeah, the smartaranga, please share it in the chat if you have any. Oh, this video is about 2.5 minutes long, Arohanui. I'm not sure if we've got about the time for this. It is awesome.
I will send out the learning bite link to everyone following this. So you can again go through this again with your whānau and in your own time, if that's appropriate.
Cool. And yeah, so this is Grace Williamson. She is one of our expert foragers. Would really recommend watching this video. It's talking about kopokopo and how it's used for rongoā and also for kai. So yeah, go have a look. Another activity. So this is like a true or false sort of thing. I'll just state the points and you guys tell me whether it's ai or kau. Kawakawa leaves and berries are both edible. Ai or kau? Ai? Ai, yeah. Let's try that. Ai, cool. What about this one? Foraging fungi and berries requires more caution. Ai o kao. Ai. There's a pattern here. What about this one? Tikanga is essential for safe and sustainable foraging. Ai o kao. Ai. Absolutely. Cool. Sorry if this feels a little fast. I just want to make sure we've got time for Hori. And this is just a whakatauki here that I thought would tie it all together, and that's that manaki whenua, manaki tangata, haere whakamua. So if we take care of the land and take care of the people, we take care of the future. And that's all about passing this mātauranga down, making sure that we're still connecting with the taiao and the atua, keeping those relationships, that ahika, and passing that down throughout tamariki. So this is just the last slide, an overview of what we've learned today. So foraging for kai provides us with fresh, local, organic, and nourishing kai, connects us with whakapapa and guides kaitiakitanga and also our tikanga. It uplifts our hauora of both the taiao and tangata. Of course, we are part of the taiao. Prevents waste as well, because we're not buying all that packaged junk from the supermarket, sticking it to the man, and it supports whānau health and resilience. Also, by doing all of this, we disconnect from that global system and support our own food sovereignty and security. So if you guys have any other things that you've learned that stood out today, please put that in the chat. Otherwise, we are pretty much at the end, and we'll just click. At the last part here actually is, what kind of kai will you try forage this week? So please let us know in the chat what you're thinking about now, what's coming top of mind, what you can go forage, and what you will go forage this week.
Thank you so much, Matt, and thank you for really honouring the kōrero coming through in the chat. That's probably why we went over time a little bit, and apologies to our audience if that last section felt rushed, but I think you did an awesome job, Matt. Just really wanted to give our guest, Hori, a chance to share his mātauranga, because like, look at that beautiful laid out tepu. I think we're all interested in what's going on over there. So I will send out the link to the Learning Bite to everyone. That is going to be available online for free on our website. So you can send that on to your colleagues, to your whānau, to your friends, to introduce them to this kaupapa, to foraging. For me, I'm new to foraging. So this is like super duper interesting. And I'm learning so much from you all and your engagement in the chat as well. So thank you all. And we will pass over to you, Hori.
Kia ora tuahine, Arohanui. Ware te mihi ki a koe tuahine. Nau nei tuku ngā whakaro ki te wāhi ngaro mō tēnei wānanga, nō reira tēnā koe. Nau nei hoki I tono mai ki a hau. Kia piri mai ki tēnei momo wānanga āhiko nei. Mihi ana ki Parakore, te kaupapa o Parakore. He kaupapa whakairahira I tēnei wā, tēnei ao huri. Nō reira mihi ana ki te kaupapa. Kia ora everyone. Cool to be here. And I had a whip round this morning around the bush and the Mara, and got a little bit of a selection. Not much fungi because it's been real dry here in the Eastern Bay of Plenty, but I kind of got tea stuff and then vegetation and then flowers, fruit, and then a little bit of fungi, but there wasn't much I could find at the moment. I know you're all experts too, so feel free just to add to this. Don't panic, it's organic. And just, we'll just see where this wānanga will flow. Okay. These are two of my favorites. I've never done this, to be honest. I've always done it in the taiao. This is real weird for me. So
just for context, really quickly, I shoulder tapped Hori to do this wānanga for us because when I was about 16, I did a program called Tuikura, and we did a series of wānanga, and Hori came along, and it was in Rotoiti, just on the outskirts of Rotorua, and Hori took us into the ngahere, and he like showed us everything in the ngahere that we could eat, that we could make into a tea, that we could make into a poultice, that we could use as rongoā. And that honestly opened up my whole world because I never realized how much kai was in the ngahere. And if anyone saw Sam the Trapman's video, he said a healthy ngahere is like a healthy beard full of kai. And anyway, that is why I shoulder tapped Hori to come in here. So it's a bit out of his comfort zone, probably doing it online. I just really want to acknowledge you, Hori, for opening up this door to me, to this world of foraging.
Tēnā koe tuahine. Yeah. So yeah, I'd much rather you could smell it and feel it and taste it, but just try to do it through the rorohiko. So actually, let's just talk about ID. So identification, that's probably the biggest for foraging. And there's a few things that our plant whanaunga can tell us about who they are. So you got your foliage. If it's flowering, that's a key indicator. If it's fruiting, that's another one. The smell, sometimes you can crush the leaf or just it's got a smell. Or yeah, maybe a taste as well. So yeah, ID is probably the biggest thing, for foraging. These are two real common ones. They're my favorites for tea. Manuka, kanuka. Real good antifungal, Manuka, there's been way more research done on Manuka. Everyone knows about it. Apparently, Kanuka is just as good, but not the same amount of resources been put into the research. Manuka will always keep the seed capsules on the plant, and it's a little bit more prickly when you touch it. And Kanuka, yeah, the seed capsules are tiny, you can't even see those. And they'll always drop their seeds too, and they're a much bigger tree as well, and it's softer. Kanuka, K for kind, Manuka, M for mean. And this one's been trashed, but yeah, you fellas know this one already. Kawa, yeah. Beautiful. I love Shirley's kōrero in your last learning bites about the fruit too, and using the seeds in the fruit for a pepper. That was cool, man. Yeah, I like that kōrero. There's different kōrero. Some say, the holy ones are better ones. Others say, no, never mind, anyone. On the east side, whatever. There's different kōrero, and I'm sure you can all contribute that. But yeah, real good. Clean the blood out. Okay, we're going to go into vegetation. Just feel free, like kōrero, chat, whatever. Just flow, make it flow. Yeah. This is native spinach. Can you see that? Native spinach, yeah. This is the larger leafed variety. It's got a kazi, that's smaller leafed, and it's like real common on the back dune, the sand dune on the back dune of that. I think it's kōkihi, I think is the Māori name, and it kind of scrambles, and it's quite like salty, and real fleshy. Kōkihi, yeah, the native spinach. And yeah, all these leafy stuff you can use in just, boil ups. You can fry it up. Salad is another one. Hange. Can you see that? They're a little bit wilted because I went round this morning and they've been in the sun. But yeah, hange or hane for our tūhoi whānau. These ones here, there's real soft, fleshy green leaves. And we just chuck those in our salad, If you run out of lettuce or something, you just pluck those and put them in your salad. Hange. The Pākehā name, I think, is a native privet, I think they call it. Native privet, yeah. And it's kind of got a drip tip, like a real, how do you do that? Oh yeah, there, like a real pointed kind of drip tip. But yeah, the younger ones and more spring, all the stuff is better in spring, all these vegetative ones. Can you see those? Oh, I don't know if you can see those. This is the leaf of a moku. Oh, you can see? This is the leaf of a moku or a hen and chickens fern. Can you see the little ferns on the fern? The little so yeah, that's one sign that this is the right one for piko. So piko is the little koru, in the spring, that comes from the center, which is a new fern frond, I guess. Yeah. So that's one way to tell it's definitely piko. It has little miniature ferns on the fern, I guess. Miniature fern plants on the fern leaf, fern frond. And because you get other ferns and they're not they're not really nice when you, but this is the one, piko piko, or moku. Matt already mentioned it, the watercress. This one's land cress, kind of the same, just seeds everywhere. It's real wilted though, you can see. But yeah, real good boil ups and that. Another one that should be spring, better in spring. So this is koka or tea koka, cabbage tree, yeah. So you go this, just pretend it's like that, yeah. Oh, can you see that? Like that. And it's growing, and you put your hand in there, and wherever it snaps easy, it will let you. You know, if it doesn't let you, choose another one. Where it snaps easy, that's where you go, yeah. And then you just peel all those off, and you just peel it. Oh, look, that's nice too. So that's a
You
great
are
example.
the man, Hori. You are the man. I'm loving this. I know that I'm facilitating it, but this is awesome.
That's a
wonder
bad
what it tastes
example
like.
because it snapped, but some springs a better time. But you end up with a kind of thing like that, yeah.
What does it taste like, Hori?
I like it. It's a little bit bitter, especially this time of year. But in spring, yeah, it's yummy. I like it. It's for some people it's a little bit too bitter. But yeah, I like it. You can eat it raw or usually cooked, just like a cabbage, I guess, or a riwai, yeah.
This was a
So, yeah,
very common food staple for our
hard
people.
out, especially in that like late winter, early spring, that's a real lean time for our whānau and our ancestors. There, all the food stores were pretty low.
Yeah.
The kind of growing season wasn't really ramping up yet. So yeah, that late winter, early spring, real kind of lean time. And that's where these more fleshy vegetation stuff came into their own.
We've got a few people in the chat. Kaiwa said that she's had it cooked and that it's beautiful. Ra said that you can actually ferment it, but it's pretty honga. A nutritionist told Matt once that we don't eat enough bitter kai, but it's really good and necessary for our tinana. So there's a kōrero in that about decolonizing our taste buds, because we're so used to sugar, but these bitter tastes actually have a lot of good minerals that we're probably not getting otherwise. Yeah,
tautoko, that's mean kōrero. You're right, our taste buds have definitely changed to our ancestors. Yeah, mean kōrero, keep it coming, that's beautiful. This is Nico, yeah? Now, people might know, but this is just what I've been told. I never used to do this because I thought it killed the Nico, but I was told that it doesn't actually, and I have had a tutu, and yeah, I've seen it shoot another one, a new one. Only when they're young, just do it when they're young. This is the center of the Nico, yeah? When it's little, when it's a baba. And this one I plucked, it was like Nico seedling grass. There was heaps of them, yeah? So if it's abundant as, they're gonna all compete anyway. So there, you go in there. If it gives it to you, kapai. If it doesn't give it to you, leave it. So if it comes easy, boom. And then this here is, I wish you could taste this, you fellas. So it's kind of like, kind of coconutty, I guess. Like, yeah, it was yummy. That's more pleasant than our coca, the Nico, yeah. Oh yeah, okay, this is the one I had to get, remember, last minute. So this is puha, yeah? But this is the puha take. This is the Maori puha. Really poor example, sorry. It's not the right time of year. But these, okay, so the Latin name is Sonchus kukii, and it's being displaced by our introduced puha, yeah? So I'm on a mission to try just seed this heart out everywhere. and try get it pumping again everywhere. So yeah, Sonchus kukii. In spring, the leaves are huge. They're like real long, and it's real. I prefer it. I prefer the taste to the introduced puha. It's really yummy. So yeah, if you can get some seed, just spread it hard and try get it back up there. Okay, that's vegetation. We're gonna move on to flowers and hua. Yeah, fruit and flowers. So this one, oh, that's a really bad wilted example, eh? Can you see these little flowers?
Yes, we can see. That's a beautiful view.
Beautiful. Can you see the fluorescent blue pollen on the flower?
Yes.
No. Oh, yeah. Okay, so this is a kōtukutuku or a native tree fuchsia. The berries of the kōtukutuku are called kōnini. So the tree is kōtukutuku, the berry is known as a kōnini. These, it's kind of finished now, the season's over, but these beautiful flowers, the fuchsia flowers, turn into these really yummy pink, dark purple berries, little berries. And they're just yummy treats in the bush in the summer, more the summertime. And really cool about those flowers too, when the korimako's on the pollen, the bellbird, it gets a fluorescent blue forehead. It's so neat, eh? And they're flying around with their blue forehead, yeah. But anyway, when it's a fruit, the kōnini, oh, they're yum as. We have them on our oats, like blueberries. They're like our summer blueberries, you know. My eldest, he's 3 now. He just up there on our ladder picking them. He loves them. So kōnini is the fruit, the name of the fruit. And apparently the settlers made jams and all out of them, eh, when they came over. Yeah, this is a famous one. This was all off the bush floor, so it's not the best examples, but oh, how do I do that? Can you see those? Is that a good view?
Yep.
So there's the foliage, what the foliage looks like. There's some little ones, kind of like a miniature mango, eh? Kind of similar shape. Miniature mango. So these, anyone know what these are? They are famous one. These are miro. Miro, yeah. You can munch these. They kind of got a kerosene aftertaste though. So I guess that's why our kereru tuakana get drunk, eh, when they're on the miro. It's kind of got a turpentine aftertaste. But yummy though. It's like real sweet start, but yeah, there's that aftertaste. Yummy though.
And when the middle are fat, that's when the kereru are fat too, eh? That's
Oh,
the time
yeah.
to harvest
Yeah.
kereru. Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
hard,
all
yeah.
that mātauranga about being connected to whenua, even how you said how the korimako has the blue forehead. You know,
Yeah.
what a beautiful observation.
Yeah, hard out, eh? Almost. Till I kind of tell us stories, eh? And it's cool, eh, when you learn new plants. It's like you're meeting or even new birds or any take species, like or even not a take species from our other whakapapa, you know, on the other side of the world. It's like whenever you learn a new species or meet a new plant, it's like you're meeting a long lost whanaunga, eh? And it's like that reconnection. Oh, beautiful, man. Yeah, so choice. So yeah, you never stop learning, eh? Like there's so many plants, birds, fungi, kaimoana, long lost whanaunga to reconnect with. Okay, yeah. So these ones, can you see those?
How do you eat middleberries, Hori?
I just eat them when I'm in the bush on the ground and that. I just eat them like there's quite a big stone in the middle. It's kind of like a miniature mango. Yeah, that's the best way I can explain it. And then just spit out your seed so it can do its thing. I have also stuffed the berries, stuffed the chicken, and you kind of get that similar, you know, it absorbs the oils and the juices from the miro berries, and you kind of get a replica, I guess, of what it could have been. A kereru, a fat kereru on miro.
Cool.
So these are whanaunga, these ones are in the same whānau. They got orange berries. So this one, the smaller leafed one, is a karamu or a karamuramu, depending what iwi you're from. And this one is a manono. We call it a manono, but I think over Taranaki, raurekau, and there's heaps of different. It's the largest leaf, Caprosma. Oh, sorry, yeah. These are in the Caprosma family, yeah? That's the whānau, Caprosma. So if it's in that whānau, you can munch the berries. And apparently these ones here are related to coffee, I was told. And in the hua, it's got 2 seeds, always 2 seeds. That's common to that whānau. And coffee beans, apparently there's 2 in the red coffee berry. Other little tips on indicating Caprosmas. I don't know if that's good. The leaves are always opposite, and it's got that little stipule. It's like a little spike between the leaf junction. So if it's got that, it's a Caprosma, and the Caprosma whānau is huge. It's like there's heaps, and you can eat all those berries. And some of the berries are real cool. They're like white, or like white and a little bit of blue. That's like heaps of them are called mingi mingi, which is like the small leafed ones. Okay, I'm probably running out of time. Am I going wrong? All
No,
good?
you're all good. Maybe 5 more minutes, and then we'll do some questions and maybe chuck the feedback form in the chat now, if you don't mind, Matt, so that our whānau watching can fill that out. If you could fill out our feedback form, e te whānau, that just lets us know what you'd like to see in our next ones and how we can improve these for you.
Yeah, so there's the 2 seeds always in the Caprosma and that whānau, in the fruit. Okay. Oh, I got to do this one. So here. Yeah. All good.
Yep,
Can you see it?
we can see that.
Oh, yeah, cool. Yeah, we got it. Did someone get it? Kahikatea. Kahikatea. White pine, our tallest native tree. Kahikatea. These are really small, eh? But when they're on, the whole tree can be red. And see this? This is the seed on the outside of the fruit. So the fruit's like a little jelly bean, and this is the seed on the outside. So it's actually, if you pull it by the seed and eat the fruit off, it's a seedless fruit. Beautiful. And our tipuna used to gather these in like the hundreds of thousands, like big whairiki, and like, you know, getting all these hua. Tōtara are the same. They're the same, and so are rimu. And only the females fruit. So that group of trees, the conifers, so like tōtara, rimu, kahikatea, they have male trees and female trees. So it's only the female trees that have hua. So when you find a female tree, you'll see it just red.
And it's my understanding as well, Hori, that they don't produce hua every year either. Like the rimu has a masting year, I think every 4 to 6 years. And it's currently masting, and that's why we're having a kakapo breeding season, because the kakapo tend to breed when we have a masting year.
Yeah, beautiful. They rely on that mast year for their breeding. So there's kahikatea. This is we all know these, eh? Yeah. Our ones from the north. So yeah, blackberry, wild raspberries. Another one's wineberry. Our take ones in that whānau are the tātaramoa, the bush lawyer. So that whānau is called rubus, the rubus whānau, yeah. So yeah, real cool tip when you're gathering these. and there's big bushes, you get a plank, and you just lay the plank so you can like get the hard to reach ones right in the middle of the blackberry bush. Real common, red clover, real high in vitamin C, real good in your salads, just chuck it in. My wahine is from the other side, up by the Swiss Alps, and this is what their tipuna ate. They got a lot of those wildflower fields, and they used to gather all these and munch the and these are everywhere, you know. This one's another cool one, borage. That's the flower. Oh, it's all crushed. But yeah, borage really nice in salads as well. This is the Fijo one I found. You can munch these fleshy bits, yeah. They're really yummy. And on that note, the sweetest thing I've ever had in the New Zealand bush is what they call a tāwhara. It's the fleshy petals of the kia flower. And that's kind of similar. It's kind of these white fleshy petals on the kia, which is a climbing vine. This is another family favorite. So yeah, it's kind of got a yellow, how do I get that? Yellow flower there. The leaves are real furry. These are where the hua, they're kind of got individually packaged, yeah. So you open them up. Yeah, really neat though.
That's the hua of what plant, sorry, Hori? Oh,
sorry, this is a Cape gooseberry, that's the only name I know, sorry, Cape gooseberry. And it's a weed, it just goes everywhere. It pops up everywhere, Cape gooseberry. And these over in Europe, these are like a delicacy. They like decorate fine cakes with them, blah, blah, blah. Over here, it's just like a weed everywhere. It's just like, and my little boy, I was lucky to get some of these. He usually smashes them all. And yeah, so yeah, they're all individually wrapped. Look at that, beautiful. And it's kind of like a how do I describe it? It's like a sweet tomato, and it's got heaps of little seeds in it. And you can do anything really with it. You can just eat it. We make salsa when we have Mexican. We chop them up finely. We make a salsa out of it with onion and whatever. Yeah, really yummy. Cape gooseberry. Yeah. And yeah, unfortunately, I didn't find much fungi. It's real dry at the moment. So we just kind of finished tawaka. That's what do they call it? Poplar mushroom. I couldn't find any this morning, but we just kind of come out of that season that likes more of the warmer. But the ones I did find, so this is a hakeka or hakeke wood ear. This is wood ear mushrooms. This is a dried example. It's a better one. Doesn't taste like much. What we do is we slice it finely and then fry it up in the pan as a noodle substitute. So it's just like strips of noodles, like those oriental noodle kind of things. Or you can add it to your stews or soups or whatever. It was exported back in the day. I think it was out of Taranaki. In the early settler days, they exported a lot of this to China. It's real big in China, these wood ears. And I haven't dabbled in much of this, but I was wondering if the whānau here knew anything about it. But these are turkey tails. I found them in the bush this morning. They're beautiful turkey tails. Apparently, they're like anti-cancer, blah, blah, blah. So if anyone had any kōrero on those, I'd be real interested. That's why I got them. I was, oh, someone might. So yeah, that's the only fungi I could find. Sorry, whānau, this morning. But yeah, what do I say? Here in Mātātua, Eastern Bay of Plenty, we've come out of the tawaka season where we are, and we're going to go into the harore. So that's the armillaria in the bush, armillaria whānau. And yeah, those are the main ones really in the bush, apart from the field mushrooms and all that. So yeah, autumn's a great season for fungi, but it's just been so dry really. And that's all the stuff I have on the table, aroha nui.
That was absolutely incredible, Hori. I am gobsmacked. Hori said to me, oh, I'll give it a go. I don't think I'm not an expert. You just named all the scientific names behind all of these plants and listed where you can find them, how to harvest them. That was absolutely phenomenal. We are so grateful for you, Hori. Thank you so much. Honestly, I'm actually like just sitting in it because that was so exciting for me. I haven't done much foraging before, so I feel very much so like an attendee in this webinar, and I'm just excited to get out there and observe. And you were talking about your 3-year-old who already knows how to identify and pick these different kai from our foodscapes. What a beautiful piece of mātauranga that you are passing on to our next generation, and how exciting that we are reviving this art form of foraging and boosting our food security and connecting ourselves more deeply with ourselves, with the natural world, being in tune to te Aotearoa. Nō reira, tēnā koe, Hori, mō o pukinga, mō o mātauranga.
Ia ora. Nā, kia koutou hoki. Taue te hono nei. Yeah, so yeah, the oldest is 3 and the youngest is 1. So yeah. And yeah, ko Aotearoa tamaiti pākiki. I was one of those little inquisitive fellas growing up. What's that? So yeah, I forgot to mihi all those tuakana and pakeke, but yeah. Sorry I was annoying, but I thank them very much for
yeah, be inquisitive.
hearing.
One of the biggest lessons that I'm taking away from what you said as well is that it should feel easy and it should feel right. Like when you go to pull it, if it's resisting, leave it. That's beautiful. Māori ake nei te rā whakaro kia hau. Like that's a real Māori way of approaching foraging. Yeah, so just really grateful. And thank you, Matt, as well, for the work that you did on your learning bite. That was such a beautiful introduction and context setting to this kaupapa. We've just got a few more minutes before I close us with karakia. Are there any kind of final questions or comments in the chat? We will follow up. We've had about 35-ish people in this wānanga. We did have 110 registered, but obviously 11 o'clock, some people can't make it with work and life commitments. So I will send a follow-up email to everyone who registered with the link to this recording and the link to the learning bite. So yeah. Ngā mihi nui kia koutou. Any final questions or comments, please put them in the chat before I close us with karakia. Just a whole bunch of deep gratitude coming through for you, Hori, for your mātauranga. People are really excited to have kids and teach them the way you're teaching your kids, the ways of foraging. One quick question from Megan. Was it purple clover?
It's just called, it's known red clover, eh? That's what they call it, red clover. But yeah, I guess it looks more purple. But yeah, I think the actual name for it is red clover. But yeah, you're right, it kind of looks purple.
Yeah, it's definitely red clover, but it looks purple. And the crimson clover is actually red. It's quite interesting when you think about how they named things. Yeah.
Oh. Where do you find that?
Just on your lawn, or that's a good point though, eh? Where isn't the spray? Oh, sorry.
Yeah, you're right. It'll grow on your lawn. Let your lawn grow. Stop mowing your lawn so much. Or if you have to mow it really high. Let the clovers grow, because you'll get a lot of red clovers and white clovers coming through. All of those clovers, you know, beautiful kai sauce.
Beautiful. What a wonderful way to close us up. Thank you so much, everyone, for attending, for making time. You know, it's really uncertain times. It can be scary times. We're watching some big global conflicts and wars and tensions play out. And it's really important that we arm ourselves with the knowledge, tools, mātauranga of our ancestors to be able to gather our own kai and have real food security in that, to be confident in assessing our environment and gathering kai from our lawn, from our local parks, from our ngahere, from our roto, from our awa, from our moana, and know that we can feed ourselves, we can feed our elderly neighbour, we can feed our tamariki, we can share it with our friends, and share this knowledge too, e te whānau. Knowledge is not knowledge if it is not shared. So please share this learning bite around and this recording around when I send it all to you. No reira, yeah, piki mihi kia koutou katoa, and especially big mihi to you, Hori, for coming along today as our guest. I will close us up with karakia. E rua te wānanga kua kitea te aroaro whenua e whirawhira nei. Kia mau ai te mea tata hei pautoko toko mō mātou e manako nei. Kia u, kia mau, kia tīna, tīna. Haumi e hui e. Tai ki e. Mauri ora kia tātou. Ka kite.
Ai ki